Thank you. Okay, so who's ready to talk about vaping? Okay, great. All right. Most of us have the general perception, and it's true, that tobacco use has been declining over the last 20 or 30 years. And in fact, tobacco control is often cited as the greatest achievement of modern public health, and indeed has saved millions probably of lives. Unfortunately, when we talk about tobacco, it's not just cigarettes. That many youth, unfortunately, don't really see e-cigarettes as a tobacco product. And they definitely don't see e-cigarettes as smoking. There seems to be a temporal association where they tend to start vaping first and then start using other forms of tobacco. Not to mention other drugs, and there's an increasing amount of research that talks about the essentially gateway theory, puts some evidence around the gateway theory that vaping is an introduction to other forms of tobacco use and indeed other drugs. So you can see, this right here, although obviously this is correlation, not causation, but the fact that your odds of smoking within 18 the fact that if you're an e-cigarette user, your odds of starting to smoke within 18 months are 4 times higher. That is a very, very high odds ratio. I give a lot of credit to the Juul designers who went to the Stanford School of Design. This is a sleek product. Okay? This looks more like the kind of product that might be produced by Apple, whose designers also went to the Stanford School of Design. So one thing about youth, they're very price sensitive. Okay? So gram for gram of nicotine, this is going to be between 50 and 80% cheaper than smoking. How many people think it would be great if we had a product that could actually lower teenagers' impulse control, lower their mood regulation, and have more difficulty concentrating? It's not a good idea. It's the exact wrong thing that you want for a teenager. And it's a particular problem for educators. And I think one of the reasons that this problem is being addressed so seriously by schools, and that our program has been adopted so widely by schools, is partly because not just of the health of the kids, but of the educational distraction that vaping entails. It's a financial distraction, it's a time distraction. Kids leave the classroom to go to the bathroom to vape. They sit in the back and, someone could be vaping in here and I wouldn't know it. It's that easy to conceal. I mean, you've got your hand right here. How do I know you're not vaping, right? No, I'm just saying. I'm not calling you out, but right, and I have tremendous sympathy for teachers because as soon as you turn around to write something on the blackboard, the kids in the back are vaping. Okay, it's a huge, huge educational distraction. The biggest issue is not what we know. The biggest issue is what we don't know. We know a lot about nicotine. We know it's addictive. We know it's being put in very high concentrations in these products. Most of this other stuff, we really don't know. We don't know what happens if you inhale propylene glycol many times a day for a year or 5 years or 10 years or 20 years. These products haven't been around that long. We just don't know what happens. So, one of the key part of kind of the dialogue that we have with kids is to help them understand the unknowns. We're not here to be able to tell you all the things that can go wrong, but you have to understand you're participating in a giant laboratory experiment. Do you want to be a generation of lab rats? We don't want to jump to the conclusion that e-cigarettes are deadly or worse or whatever. And there are certainly anecdotal reports of people saying that e-cigarettes saved my life because I'm not smoking anymore. So there's some hope that maybe e-cigarettes will turn out to be healthier. However, all these companies that have products on the market enjoy what we call an enforcement exemption. They did not actually get approval for the products. Okay? The FDA said, well, since there's the promise that these things are probably safer than cigarettes, we're going to allow you to put them on the market, pending further kind of review and all that, which never really happened. But what Juul was doing is they were saying, essentially, some combination of our product's safer, less harmful, and or healthier, which I don't know where you get that. But the FDA is saying, no, you did not get your product approved as a cessation device. You did not get your product approved as safer to cigarettes. Probably ain't good enough.